You spend enough time waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for approval, waiting for someone to notice your potential, waiting for life to finally start. But let me tell you something. Life already started. The clock has been ticking, and every second you spend doubting yourself is a second you'll never get back. At some point, you have to make a decision. Not a small decision, not a half-hearted attempt, but a real, unshakable decision that you are done playing small. You keep giving your energy to things that don't deserve you. You keep investing time in people who don't see your worth. You keep sacrificing your dreams to stay comfortable. And comfort is the most dangerous place you can live because it feels safe while it quietly destroys your potential. Growth doesn't live in comfort. Greatness doesn't come from doing what's easy. It comes from discipline, from sacrifice, from choosing yourself even when it's hard. Look at your life honestly. Where are you wasting time? Where are you settling? Where are you telling yourself it's okay when deep down you know it's not? That voice inside you, that discomfort, that frustration, that's not your enemy. That's your truth trying to wake you up, and you can ignore it or you can finally listen. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you success, confidence, or purpose. If you don't build, it won't exist. If you don't fight for it, it won't happen. And if you don't believe in yourself, why should anyone else? You have to start valuing yourself. Not in words, not in empty affirmations, but in actions. The way you spend your time shows what you value. The way you allow people to treat you shows what you believe you deserve. The way you handle your goals shows how serious you are about your future. So ask yourself, are your actions matching the life you say you want? Because saying you want success means nothing if you're not willing to work when you're tired. Saying you want peace means nothing if you keep entertaining chaos. And saying you value yourself means nothing if you keep accepting less than you deserve. This is where it changes. This is where you draw the line. No more excuses. No more blaming your past, your circumstances, or other people. Yes, life is unfair. Yes, things didn't go your way. But at some point, you have to stop looking at what happened to you and start focusing on what you're going to do about it. Discipline is what will separate you, not motivation, because motivation fades. Not talent, because talent without work means nothing. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when nobody's watching. Discipline is choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort again and again until it becomes who you are. You have greatness in you, but greatness demands something from you. It demands focus. It demands consistency. It demands that you stop chasing distractions and start chasing purpose. Every time you choose scrolling over working, excuses over effort, fear over action, you're choosing a smaller life. And maybe you've been doing that for a long time. Maybe you've doubted yourself, procrastinated, or let fear control your decisions. That doesn't mean it's over. That doesn't mean you failed. It just means it's time to wake up. Because the moment you decide to take control, everything changes. The moment you stop negotiating with your excuses and start committing to your goals, everything shifts. You don't need a new year. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a decision, a real decision that you're done being average, done being distracted, done being less than who you know you can be. Focus is your weapon. Protect it. Guard your time like your life depends on it, because it does. Every hour you invest in yourself compounds. Every effort you make builds momentum. And momentum is powerful. It turns small actions into massive results over time. And valuing yourself means setting standards. It means walking away from anything that drains you, disrespects you, or holds you back. It means choosing growth over comfort, purpose over popularity, discipline over distraction. You don't need validation. You don't need permission. You don't need anyone to agree with your vision. What you need is belief. The kind of belief that doesn't shake when things get hard. The kind of belief that keeps you going. There's no applause, no recognition, no immediate results. Because there will be days when you feel like quitting. Days when progress feels slow. Days when doubt creeps in. And those moments, you have to remind yourself why you started. You have to remember the version of you that refused to settle. The version of you that wanted more. The version of you that knew you were capable of something greater. That version of you is still there. It's just waiting for you to take control. So stop waiting. Stop doubting. Stop giving your power away. This is your life, your future, your responsibility. Focus on what matters. Value who you are and start moving like the person you know you're meant to become. You've been standing on the edge of your own life, watching it pass by as if it belongs to someone else, waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right person to come along and unlock something inside you. But the truth is simple and uncomfortable. Nothing is coming. No. There's no perfect moment waiting in the future, no magical turning point where everything suddenly becomes easy. The moment is now, and has always been now. The only thing missing has been your decision to step forward and take control. It's easy to wait. Waiting feels safe. It gives you an excuse to delay action, to avoid failure, to stay within the boundaries of what's familiar. Tell yourself you're being patient, that you're preparing, that you'll start when things feel right. But deep down, you know that's not the truth. You're hesitating because taking control means taking responsibility. And responsibility is heavy. It means you can no longer blame your circumstances, your past, or other people for where you are. It means the results you get, good or bad, are a reflection of the choices you make. But that's also where your power is. The moment you stop waiting is the moment you take your power back. Because if you are responsible for where you are, then you are also capable of changing it. That realization is not a burden, it's freedom. It means you are not stuck. It means your future is not decided by what happened yesterday. It means you have the ability, starting right now, to move your life in a different direction. Taking control doesn't mean you suddenly have everything figured out. It doesn't mean you won't feel fear or doubt. In fact, you will. You'll question yourself. You'll wonder if you're making the right choices. You'll feel uncomfortable stepping into something new. But that discomfort is a sign that you're finally moving. Growth always feels unfamiliar at first. The difference is that instead of running from it, you face it. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what happens if I don't try? Because the real risk isn't failure. The real risk is staying exactly where you are, unchanged, unchallenged, and unfulfilled. The real risk is looking back years from now and realizing you spent your life waiting instead of living. Regret is far heavier than failure will ever be. Taking control also means making decisions, even when they're difficult. It means choosing to act when it would be easier to stay still. It means creating structure in your life where there has been chaos. You begin to set priorities. You decide what matters and what doesn't. You stop letting your time be controlled by distractions and start directing it toward purpose. And yes, it will require sacrifice. You may have to give up habits that have been holding you back. When you focus deeply on one thing at a time, your results multiply. Your efforts become more powerful because they are not diluted by constant interruptions. It also means setting boundaries. Not everyone will understand your commitment and not everyone will support it. Some people may see your focus as distance. Some may try to pull you back into old habits. But you have to be strong enough to stay aligned with your priorities. You can't build a better future if you keep returning to the same distractions that kept you stuck. Your environment plays a huge role in your focus. If you surround yourself with noise, negativity, and constant interruptions, staying focused will feel like a battle. But if you create an environment that supports your growth, whether that means a quiet space, a structured routine, or limiting unnecessary input, you make it easier for yourself to succeed. Discipline is what keeps your focus strong. There will be days when you don't feel like concentrating, when distractions seem more appealing, when your mind looks for the easiest way out. In those moments, discipline is what brings you back. It reminds you that what you want long-term is more important than what feels good right now. You also have to train your mind to stay present. Focus is not just about removing distractions from your environment. It's about removing distractions from your thoughts. When you're working, be fully engaged. When you're learning, absorb as much as you can. When you're building something, give it your full effort. Half focus leads to half results. Over time, strong focus creates momentum. The more you concentrate on what matters, the more progress you see. And that progress becomes motivating. It builds confidence. It reinforces the idea that your efforts are working. But it all starts with a decision to stop giving your time and energy to things that don't serve you. You don't need more time. You need better focus. Everyone has the same 24 hours, but not everyone uses them the same way. Ain't there? The difference between where you are and where you want to be is how you choose to invest those hours. So start paying attention to your attention. Be intentional with it. Protect it. Direct it toward your goals, your growth, and your purpose. Because once you master your focus, you begin to take control of your life in a way that most people never do. You say you value yourself, but the real question is, do your actions prove it? Because value is not something you declare, it's something you demonstrate. It shows up in the choices you make every single day. It shows up in how you spend your time, how you treat your body, how you allow others to treat you, and how seriously you take your own goals. Words are easy. Anyone can say they believe in themselves, that they deserve more, that they want a better life. But if your actions don't match those words, then deep down, you're still settling. Valuing yourself starts with awareness. You have to look at your life honestly, without excuses. Where are you tolerating less than you deserve? Where are you betraying your own standards just to stay comfortable or avoid conflict? Maybe you're staying in situations that drain you, giving your energy to people who don't respect you, or constantly putting your needs last. These are not small things. These are signals. They show how you truly see yourself. When you value yourself, you begin to act differently. You stop accepting everything that comes your way and start being selective. You understand that your time and energy are limited and you don't waste them on things that don't contribute to your growth. You stop chasing validation because you realize your worth is not determined by other people's opinions. Instead of seeking approval, you focus on becoming someone you respect. Your habits are a reflection of your self-worth. The way you start your day, the effort you put into your work, the consistency you show when no one is watching, all of it matters. If you constantly delay your goals, avoid discipline, or give up when things get difficult, you're sending a message to yourself that your future is not a priority. But when you show up, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, you begin to build a different identity, one rooted in self-respect. Valuing yourself also means taking care of your mind and body. You can't expect to perform at your best if you neglect your health, your energy, or your mental clarity. The way you eat, the way you rest, the way you manage stress, these are not luxuries, they are essentials. When you treat your body with respect, you increase your ability to focus, to think clearly, and to handle challenges. When you protect your mental space, you become stronger, more resilient, and more in control of your emotions. Another part of valuing yourself is setting boundaries. This is where many people struggle because it requires courage. It means saying no when something doesn't align with your priorities. It means walking away from situations that no longer serve you. It means choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. Not everyone will understand your boundaries, and some people may even resist them. But that's the point. Boundaries are not about pleasing others. They are about protecting yourself. You also have to stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy your sense of value. There will always be someone ahead of you, someone more experienced, someone who seems more successful. But their journey is not yours. When you focus on what others are doing, you lose sight of your own path. Valuing yourself means recognizing that your progress, no matter how small, matters. It means celebrating your wins and learning from your setbacks without letting them define you. Consistency is what strengthens self-value over time. It's not about making one big change and expecting everything to transform overnight. It's about the small, repeated actions that reinforce who you are becoming. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you push through resistance, you build confidence. And that confidence is real. There will be moments when doubt creeps in. Moments when you question whether you're good enough, capable enough, or worthy of the life you want. That's normal. But valuing yourself means not letting those thoughts control your actions. It means moving forward anyway. It means proving to yourself through effort and persistence that you are capable of more than your fears suggest. At the end of the day, valuing yourself is a decision that you have to make again and again. It's not something you achieve once and keep forever. It's something you practice. It's in the way you think, the way you act, and the way you respond to challenges. It's in the standards you set and the discipline you maintain. If you want a better life, you have to start treating yourself like someone who deserves it. Not just in what you say, but in everything you do. Motivation feels powerful in the moment. It gives you a surge of energy, a sense of excitement, a temporary belief that you're ready to change everything. But the problem is, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes depending on how you feel, your mood, your environment, even the time of day. If you depend on motivation, you will only act when it's convenient, when it feels right, when everything aligns perfectly. And life doesn't work that way. There will be many days when you don't feel inspired, when you're tired, distracted, discouraged. On those days, motivation disappears. And if that's all you rely on, your progress stops. That's where discipline becomes your foundation. Discipline is different. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It shows up regardless of your mood, your energy, or your circumstances. It's the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. And that's what separates people who talk about change from those who actually achieve it. You have to understand that success is not built in big dramatic moments. It's built in small, consistent actions repeated over time. It's waking up and doing the work when you'd rather stay in bed. It's staying focused when distractions are everywhere. It's continuing progress feels slow and results are not immediate. These moments are not exciting, but they are essential. This is where discipline lives. When you rely on discipline, you remove the need to constantly decide whether or not you're going to act. You create structure. You build routines. You make certain actions non-negotiable. Whether you feel good or not, whether you're motivated or not, the work gets done. And over time, this consistency compounds. What once felt difficult becomes normal. What once required effort becomes habit. The truth is, you don't need to feel ready. You don't need to feel confident. You don't need to feel motivated. You just need to start and then keep going. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Waiting to feel motivated before you act is a trap. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of starting and stopping, always beginning but never finishing. Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Every time you say you're going to do something and you follow through, you strengthen that trust. You prove to yourself that your words have value. But every time you make excuses, delay, or quit halfway, you weaken it. Over time, this either builds confidence or destroys it. Discipline ensures that you become someone you can rely on. There will be resistance. There will be days when everything in you wants to quit, to take the easy way out, to avoid the discomfort. That's normal. Discipline doesn't eliminate resistance. It teaches you how to move through it. It reminds you that discomfort is temporary, but the results of your actions are lasting. You also have to accept that discipline requires sacrifice. You can't have everything at once. You can't chase comfort and growth at the same time. You will have to give up certain habits, certain distractions, and sometimes even certain relationships that pull you away from your goals. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Every time you choose discipline, you're choosing your future over your present comfort. Consistency is where discipline proves its power. Anyone can work hard for a day, a week, or even a month, but staying consistent over time, that's what creates real change. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up again and again, even when things aren't ideal. Progress doesn't come from occasional bursts of effort. It comes from steady, repeated action. As you continue to practice discipline, something shifts inside you. What once felt like a struggle becomes part of your identity. You stop seeing discipline as something you have to force, and you start seeing it as who you are. You become someone who follows through, someone who stays committed, someone who does the work regardless of circumstances. And that's when results start to show. Not overnight, not instantly, but gradually. You begin to see improvement. You begin to feel stronger, more focused, more in control. And those results reinforce your discipline, creating a cycle of growth. In the end, discipline is what carries you when motivation fades. It's what keeps you moving when things get hard. What turns your goals into reality. Because it's not about how you feel, it's about what you do consistently over time. Comfort feels good, but it comes at a cost. It wraps you in familiarity, keeps things predictable, and protects you from discomfort. But at the same time, it slowly limits you. It keeps you in the same place, repeating the same patterns, producing the same results. Nothing truly changes inside comfort, because comfort doesn't demand anything from you. It doesn't push you to grow, to adapt, or to become better. It simply allows you to stay as you are. And staying as you are might feel safe, but it can quietly turn into frustration. You start to feel stuck. You begin to notice that time is passing, yet nothing meaningful is improving. You have goals, ideas, and ambition, but they remain distant because you're not willing to step into the discomfort required to achieve them. That's the trade-off. Comfort gives you temporary ease, but it takes away long-term progress. Growth, on the other hand, is uncomfortable by nature. It challenges you. It forces you to face uncertainty, to take risks, and to push beyond what feels easy. It asks more from you than you're used to giving. And that's why many people avoid it. Not because they don't want to grow, but because they don't want to feel uncomfortable. They want results without the process, progress without the struggle. But that's not how real change works. Every level of growth requires a new version of you. A version that is stronger, more disciplined, more focused, and more resilient. You don't become that version by staying where you are. You become it by stepping into situations that stretch you, by doing things you're not fully confident in, by taking action even when you're unsure of the outcome. That's where transformation begins. Choosing growth means being willing to feel uncomfortable on purpose. It means understanding that discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that you're evolving. When you feel challenged, when things feel difficult, that's when you're being shaped into someone more capable. Avoiding that feeling keeps you limited. Embracing it expands your potential. There will be moments when comfort calls you back. It will try to convince you to slow down, to take it easy, to return to what feels familiar. It will remind you of how simple things used to be when you weren't pushing yourself. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can go back to what's easy, or you can continue forward into what will make you better. Growth also requires letting go. Letting go of habits that no longer serve you. Letting go of excuses that keep you stuck. Letting go of the version of yourself that is comfortable but not fulfilled. This can be difficult because even negative patterns can feel familiar, but holding on to them only keeps you from moving forward. You may also have to outgrow certain environments or people. Not everyone will understand your decision to change. Now, some may prefer the version of you that was easier to relate to, the one who didn't challenge themselves as much. But your growth is not about meeting other people's expectations. It's about reaching your own potential. And sometimes that means creating distance from anything that holds you back. Progress doesn't happen instantly. It's a gradual process that requires patience and persistence. There will be setbacks. There will be moments where you question whether it's worth it. But every time you choose growth over comfort, you build resilience. You strengthen your mindset. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. Over time, something changes. What once felt uncomfortable starts to feel normal. The challenges that once intimidated you become manageable. You develop confidence, not because things are easy, but because you've learned how to navigate difficulty. And that confidence becomes a foundation for even greater growth. Choosing growth also gives your life meaning. It replaces stagnation with progress, uncertainty with purpose. Instead of feeling stuck, you feel like you're moving forward. Instead of repeating the same patterns, you're creating new possibilities. And that sense of progress is far more fulfilling than temporary comfort will ever be. At some point, you have to decide what matters more, staying comfortable or becoming who you're capable of being. You can't have both. One will always come at the expense of the other. And while comfort may feel good in the moment, growth is what leads to a better future. So when you feel that pull toward what's easy, remind yourself of what you truly want. Remind yourself that nothing meaningful comes without effort. And choose the path that challenges you, shapes you, and pushes you forward, even when it's difficult. The standards you set for your life quietly determine everything you experience. They shape what you tolerate, what you accept, and what you walk away from. Whether you realize it or not, you are always teaching people how to treat you by what you allow. If you accept less, you will continue to receive less. If you ignore your own boundaries, others will too. And if you settle for what's easy instead of what's right, your life will reflect that decision over and over again. Raising your standards is not about arrogance or thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about self-respect. It's about deciding that your time, your energy, and your future are too valuable to be wasted on things that don't align with who you want to become. It's about recognizing that you deserve more, not because someone told you so, but because you're willing to demand it from yourself first. It starts internally. Before you expect anything from the world, you have to expect more from yourself. Higher standards mean holding yourself accountable when it's easier to make excuses. It means following through on your commitments, even when no one is watching. It means refusing to cut corners, even when you could get away with it. Because your character is built in those moments where you choose integrity over convenience. You can't expect a better life while maintaining the same habits that kept you stuck. If your routines are inconsistent, if your discipline is weak, if you constantly delay what matters, then no external change will fix that. Raising your standard in your daily action. It means being intentional with how you spend your time, how you approach your goals, and how seriously you take your responsibility. At the same time, it also affects how you deal with others. When you raise your standards, you stop accepting disrespect, negativity, anything that drains your energy. You begin to notice patterns that you once ignored. You recognize when people not aligned with your growth. And instead of trying to fix or tolerate those situations, you create distance, not out of anger, but out of clarity. This is where many people struggle, because raising your standards often requires difficult decisions. It may mean saying no more often. It may mean walking away from opportunities that don't align with your values. It may even mean letting go of relationships that once felt important. But every time you choose to honor your standards, you reinforce your self-worth. You also have to understand that higher standards come with higher responsibility. You can't demand excellence in your life while putting in minimal effort. You can't expect respect if you don't respect yourself. You can't want success while avoiding the work it requires. The level of your standards must match the level of your commitment. Otherwise, they're just empty expectations. There will be moments when you're tempted to lower your standards, moments when it feels easier to settle, to compromise, to go back to what's familiar. That's normal. But those are the moments that define your direction. Every time you lower your standards, you reinforce a cycle of mediocrity. Every time you uphold them, you strengthen a cycle of growth. It's also important to be patient with yourself. Raising your standards doesn't mean becoming perfect overnight. It means gradually improving, becoming more aware, and making better decisions consistently. There will be mistakes along the way. There will be times when you fall short. But what matters is that you recognize it and correct it instead of accepting it as your norm. As your standards rise, your environment begins to change. You attract different opportunities, different people, and different experiences. Not by chance, but because your behavior, your mindset, and your expectations have shifted. You start to operate at a level that aligns with what you want, rather than what you're used to. You begin to feel a stronger sense of control over your life. Not because everything is perfect, but because you know what you will and won't accept. You know what you're working toward. You know what matters. And that clarity gives you confidence. In the end, your life will always reflect the standards you set and the standards you set and the standards you maintain. If you want something better, you have to require more from yourself first and then from everything around you. So stop accepting what doesn't align with your growth. Stop settling for what's easy. Decide what kind of life you want and then build standards that support it. And most importantly, have the discipline and the courage to live by them every single day. At the end of it all, everything comes back to one simple truth. You are responsible for the life you live. Not your past, not other people, not your circumstances, you. And that's not meant to pressure you, it's meant to empower you. Because if it's in your hands, then it's in your control. You have the ability to shift your direction, to raise your standards, to focus your energy, and to become someone stronger than you were yesterday. It won't happen overnight, and it won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Every step you take toward discipline, every moment you choose growth over comfort, every time you act in alignment with your value, you are building a life that reflects your true potential. So, don't slow down now. Don't go back to who you used to be. Keep pushing, keep growing, and keep showing up for yourself because the life you want is created by the actions you take starting today.